We're back. It's episode 23 of season 2 of the Daily Intermission podcast. In the co-pilot seat today, Nate Brown. How we doing, bud?
I'm doing semi-good. I think I'm coming down with something, but not too bad.
We are fresh off a trip to Alberta, and did it ever feel like a different world?
Oh my goodness, man. Not a mask in sight out there.
It was unbelievable, but
Crazy.
I should say the pregame today is brought to you by Manscaped. If you are going, full on bush mode with your woman or just in general, you're going to have to use the code TDI at manscaped.com for 20% off your order. You get free shipping. Seriously, keep it trimmed, keep it uptight, and you won't regret using the new Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0.
No, you won't. It's good stuff. Keep your mustache trimmed up like this bad boy right here.
Yeah. Oh, you using that on the face too?
Oh my God, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll double it up.
Okay.
I don't care.
Yeah.
My body.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. I won't question that. It's a very versatile product. So yeah, go check out manscaped.com. Use the code TDI, and like Nate said, it's very versatile. So, but yeah, we're fresh off the Calgary trip. But before we get into that, Nate, we got quarter one. We got MLB chatter. Quarter two will be a little NHL action. Halftime show. We're going to walk through some of the top moments from our Calgary trip. Quarter three, we've got a little NBA action. In quarter four, we're going to get a little PGA, a little bit of tennis, a little bit of NCAA, kind of a little mixed bag of things.
Miscellaneous.
Yes, the miscellaneous category in quarter four. But Nate, continuing the pregame show, man, it was just such a great trip, man. It was so nice to get away. Like you've mentioned, you hadn't been on a plane since 2018, flying into Calgary, no masks, getting to, experience sports live, man. It was so nice to get away.
Oh man, it was terrific. The only brutal thing is like in the airports.
My
sure. Ears were ready to ring off from wearing that mask on Sunday or I guess it was Friday. Can't even keep my days tracked anymore. But just that entire day was just an absolute battle.
Yeah, it's a long ways as well. I mean, it is worth mentioning, it's close to being across the continent. So, we're traveling from east to west, 3-hour time change. And I'm going to be completely honest, man, the time change didn't really affect me that much when I was there. It's more of affected me when I came back. And
for sure.
I'm not sure if that's, typically how it goes. But no, man, it was truly incredible. We'll get more into that at the halftime show. Did want to mention, the news was piling in as we were in Calgary. The NFL, Russell Wilson heading to Denver. Carson Wentz is heading to your Commanders, Nate.
Yeah, wasn't the first choice, but he'll do.
Yeah, who tweeted that?
I don't, dude. It was a whole article on NBC Sports Washington.
Yeah,
they were like, Carson Wentz wasn't the first choice, but he's coming nonetheless. I was like, imagine him reading that and being like, sick, dude. Like,
it's outrageous, man. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Colts are going to do at quarterback. And I'm assuming they're going to be heavily targeting a guy by the name of Deshaun Watson, who's now been, all the criminal charges have been dropped. And he's a top 10 quarterback in the league, no question. So it's going to be fun to have Deshaun Watson back in the league, man. And obviously a feel for him. It sucks missing an entire year, dealing with these allegations. So sure. Deshaun Watson's going to be back in the league. Khalil Mack's headed to the Los Angeles Chargers. It's going to be an absolutely insane NFL season, but we are not worried about that yet, Nate.
No, we're not. Amari Cooper, too.
That's right.
That
to the
one
Browns.
was weird. I thought that was weird. It was like they kind of just gave him away.
Yeah, I was reading more into it, Nate. It's salary cap.
I figured. That's usually how it goes when it's a couple of draft picks for like a pretty good player. So.
Yeah, so the Cowboys are looking to save a little cap room. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb has kind of risen to be a number one receiver. And yeah, Amari Cooper was upset at times during the year with his targets and just his production in general. So the Browns are grabbed Amari Cooper. And now Jarvis Landry for the Browns has said, I'm looking to get out because he's not going to be the guy there anymore. So, the Browns can't win. It just seems like it's always a lose-lose situation there in Cleveland. But we'll see what Baker Mayfield has.
Should get a few more targets for Amari there.
No,
whether he hits them or not, who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see what happens.
Nate, moving into quarter one, episode 23, season 2 of the Daily Intermission podcast. We got MLB back. The players and owners reached an agreement in the CBA, and they're going to be opening day, April 7th. They're going to be playing a full 162 season. game season, and
asinine amount of games.
it is, man. And I couldn't be more excited, man. It's weird to me though that is it like the players were about to receive their first paycheck and they're like, okay, we're signing this thing. What took them an extra week and a half for them to get this thing done?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm just glad it's done. Some of the rule changes I thought were kind of strange too. Like obviously they banned the switch, which.
Is that facts?
I'm pretty sure it's confirmed.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
They banned the switch.
Yeah.
Maybe I should double check it, but as far as I know, I'm pretty sure that was.
No, for sure.
The big thing.
I mean, some of the things that were notable in the CBAs. There's no more in the doubleheaders. They were playing seven inning games last year. They're back to 9 innings. There'll be no runner starting at second during the extra innings.
That was absolute dust.
Universal DH. So now pitchers in the NL will not get that free out pitching against pitchers. So the DH, I mean, that's cool for guys like guys that come to mind are like Albert Pujols and Nelson Cruz, guys who are like kind of, aging out of their careers. The DH is such a cool position. If they still have hitting ability and can't really find a place in the field, that they'll have a spot in the NL now. So that's kind of cool. I think that's going to prolong really good hitters' careers. I'll say they obviously, it's funny to watch transformation of baseball players through their career. I mean, they start off, 180, 185 flying around, and then once they get to age 40, it's like they've been going to buffets their entire career.
Know. It's like the Barry Bonds effect.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that was a little more than a buffet, but
yep. Or you can just be straight up Prince Fielder and come in looking like an absolute unit, or Pavel
Fielder, man, what a guy.
Or Sandoval, the panda.
I just checked, and I think it is pretty much like MLBPA can agreed to banning it. So,
okay.
I mean, it's a weird thing
for sure.
I mean, like, how do you even really ban it? Like we were saying one point, I think when we were on the planes, it's just like, well, why don't you just start like creeping over? You take 3 steps every so often, everybody just kind of cuts over, and then.
Yeah, how do you monitor? How do you ban a defensive tactic? Like I think about it. I resort to football. It's like banning like cover 3. It's like, no, you have to play man. You can't. It's illegal to play zone. It's like, well, that's just going to make things easier. And obviously, I guess the base is size too, Nate.
Yeah, the bases are bigger now.
So they're looking for more offense, are they?
I think so, or maybe it's a safety thing.
Yeah.
Probably could have looked into it a bit more, but
even with the shift.
Exactly, right? Because then you can't defend. So I'm assuming it is more offense, just to make it a little more action-packed, because I know that's obviously a big thing is, like, you hear people say it all the time, baseball's boring.
Yeah.
I don't find it all. I actually love watching a baseball game on TV, but...
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, Nate, I mean, it's got to be offensive.
It's got to be offensive minded. It has to be.
Yeah.
Even more motivated. Odds, more steals.
Motivated for
sure. A little more base.
Injury avoidance as well, maybe.
Yes. Yeah. Those ankles out of the way.
Two extra teams now in the playoffs. 12 teams will not make the playoffs, which just seems outrageous. Yeah. Again, I mean, you think that with the length of the season that more teams will be making the playoffs, but they'll gradually increase that, I guess, as the years go on, and 12 teams will make the playoffs now.
And then everybody will get a playoff game.
Yeah,
for the wild card.
I mean,
the wild card.
Yeah, the one game.
Yeah.
To get in, but. So the free agent signings, Nate, are going to be coming out of the woodwork here, left, right, and center.
They already started flying out.
Yeah, free agents are busy on the line with their agents, working the phones heavily. The Blue Jays signed pitcher UC Kikuchi.
Hey, I'll take your word for it there, buddy.
Yeah, UC Kikuchi. From the Mariners, and signed up for a 3-year, $12 million a year, $36 million contract, I do believe, Nate. So their pitching's looking 36. Pretty good, man. The Blue Jays are definitely going to be in the mix in the AL East, so we're excited. We'll be following them closely this year.
There's a lot of chatter about Freddie Freeman going there too.
Yep, there is. So, I've heard the Dodgers as well. I've heard the Dodgers and the Braves are kind of the two teams right now, headlining Freddie.
I think it would almost make more sense because he's first base, so it's like.
What are you going to do with Vladdy?
Well, Vladdy said he doesn't want to move, too.
Well, you can't put him at third. There's no shot.
No. So he's not the most flexible guy. But, I know. And if Freddie, I don't know. It'd be a sweet ad for them for sure. I mean,
it just kind of reverts back to the Toronto thing, Nate. It's like every free agent out there.
Any sport
is rumored to
any
go.
Sport. I remember when they were talking about Kawhi Leonard coming back. It's like, he ain't coming back.
Yeah.
He left.
No, we'll talk about Kawhi a little later on the episode, but Kershaw back to the Dodgers on a 1-year deal.
$17 million?
Yeah, and there's still guys like Carlos Correa, Trevor Story. I mean, there's a lot of good free agents out there that are still left to sign. So I'm assuming that the Red Sox and Yankees might scoop up someone notable.
Well, they definitely will get at least somebody.
It would only make sense.
Yes, it would.
But we're just a couple weeks away from from opening day in the MLB. So that will definitely That'll definitely be a quarter of the Daily Intermission podcast moving forward. We're definitely excited about it. But Nate, we're moving into quarter 2 of the NHL, and your guy Alex Ovechkin, who we watched live, ties Jaromir Jagr in all-time goals. It was an empty netter, pretty classic. He almost had the hat trick on an empty netter.
Yeah, he almost had the old double up on empty netters. And it's hit the post and just threw the head to the sky. Like he was Ron Hainsey.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, he almost had it last night as well. It was on the goal line, and Kuznetsov buzzed in there and scooped it off.
I saw that. I saw that. But
anyway, Kuzi got a hattie.
Ovi went to the bench like he scored because Kuzi in the celebration
Grabbed
was
the
like,
puck.
he grabbed the puck and he was like, Ovi, that was yours. And then it was like, that was not Ovi's.
It's such a tough situation too. Like he took so much heat online. Like everyone was like, Kuznetsov stealing the goal. It's like, well,
but in
you
that
do
moment,
got to confirm the puck gets in the net.
Yeah, in
like
that
you can't
moment,
just sit there and watch it go in. You know. Like,
yeah, in that moment, I'm thinking you're like, we just got to. The puck's in the net. Like you're not freezing during the hockey game and be like, I got to make sure.
Exactly. So,
but that's super exciting for Alexander Ovechkin clawing away at Wayne Gretzky's record. So it's going to be so exciting. It was so fun to watch the Caps live, and I gained a bigger appreciation. I was telling this to my old man, John Carlson. I was like, because when I moved down in the third period to that lower bowl, I was right beside the Capitals defense, and that guy was playing a ton of ice, and man, he looked good.
Oh, dude. He's my guy, man. Like I could go on for hours about this guy. I love him.
No, he was. He had a great game that night and was logging a ton of minutes. And the Capitals looked good that night, Nate. But I think one takeaway I had from being in Calgary and even watching them against the Detroit Red Wings and Tampa Bay Lightning the last couple of nights is they're for real. They're a team that plays with a lot of speed. A lot of grittiness, and they're going to be a playoff team, no question. They're going to be a threat come playoff time
for sure. Even last night against Detroit, I think they held Detroit to
15 shots.
Yeah, I mean Detroit had one. I was losing it. Somebody had sent me a Snapchat of it, but Detroit had one shot through one period. And then so they put up the old they put up the old on pace, and it was just like Detroit's like on pace for 3 shots. It's like, well, that is some quick math, folks.
Yeah.
That's some good stuff right there.
Jacob Markstrom, his 9th shutout of the year.
Yeah.
Insane.
I mean, there's a lot of chatter for Shesterkin for Vezina, but 9 shutouts, dude, like
yeah, he's got to be in the chatter, man.
For sure.
But even the Saddle Dome, Nate, just like it's just a fun atmosphere in there.
Cool.
It wasn't as hostile as I was imagining. I mean, Nate and I were there for the Battle of Alberta on Monday. I'm sure all of the listeners know that. And I was expecting for the Edmonton fans and the Calgary fans to be a little bit more of a back and forth, but
I expected full blown warfare.
I did as well.
Like, I figured like what we saw in San Jose a week ago.
Yeah. Tilts in the stands.
Exactly. A little 8v8 down in the bottom row.
A little bit of chatter maybe on the concourse at the intermission, but there was none of that. No. Things were respectful.
We did see a video of like one fight afterwards.
Yeah, that's right.
Actually witness it live.
But one thing about Calgary, man, everybody was in a great mood, man. I don't know if they get a bad rap there, but people were amazing there.
Yeah.
We'll get into that at the halftime show. But one takeaway I had, Nate, from the Battle of Alberta was McDavid and Draisaitl were quite quiet. And I definitely remember McDavid creating a lot of chances out of nothing. I think he does a great job of that, is using his speed, using his talent in tight areas and making chances out of nothing. But in terms of taking over the game and really dominating, there was none of that from the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, they didn't really take over. I was kind of just mesmerized at like the little things they were doing, like these ridiculous passes McDavid was making out to the point, like these 360 twisters on the backhand, just like out of nowhere, like right on the tape, and it's just they're just so good. Draisaitl sauces everything he passes.
He does.
It's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, it's almost Backstrom-esque with just like they just sauce just because they can.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, why would I put it on the ice? It's like that's just amateur hour.
Exactly. But their goaltending is still going to be the biggest question.
Oh my god!
Moving forward, we started the game. We were kind of honed in on Koskinen just to see what he had and
dialed early.
Yeah, he was, and that's another thing too. When you're watching an NHL game live, you get so much more of an appreciation of how fast the game is, how talented these guys are actually. And I thought Koskinen was huge and looked fairly tight with his mechanics, and I thought he looked pretty good. But then he ended up getting letting in a few and ended up inevitably losing the game. But
yeah. It was funny when we were watching the Edmonton Washington game, and someone was telling me, they were like, yeah, he's got a terrible glove hand. And I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know it was that bad. And then Oshie just rips one from the point with like a second left
That's
right over
right.
the glove. I was like, all right, he's got a brutal glove hand.
That was a sniz, though.
Oh,
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's funny when you start when you hear little things about a player and then you start kind of eyeing in and zoning in on it, and it becomes true.
For sure.
Gabriel Landeskog for the Colorado Avalanche to kind of flip the switch here. He's having a great season, but he's going to be out for the long term.
Knee surgery, right?
Knee surgery.
Yeah.
So that's going to be, I mean, I don't know, that's going to be long-term IR, but that's going to free up a little cap space for them to be active at the deadline. And
you got to figure they're going to grab Giroux here for sure.
It feels like Giroux. It really does. And Giroux is going to have a lot of, a lot of say with the no movement clause of where he goes. And I think, if I'm Giroux, I think I'm heading to Colorado. That seems like the team that's been so dominant all year long. It feels like Nathan McKinnon, Renton. It feels like Nathan McKinnon's going to be a cup guy by the end of his career. I say that about McDavid.
I feel like he's really ready to get it going too.
Yeah,
and I feel like he wants it bad this year
for sure. And come playoff time, remember that interview last year after the season had concluded? That clown was like,
yeah, what chatting
with David. I forget.
I can't remember who it was, but he was just like, should you guys just say like F it and just like go for it? And he's like, what, dude?
Excuse me?
It's like, we're just gonna completely say screw the system and just play.
Yeah, it just seems it was such an outrageous comment by the media. And I mean McKinnon. I mean, let's not forget this guy's turns into an absolute mammoth of an animal. So it's gonna be fun to watch Colorado come playoff time. But continuing in the NHL quarter 2 of episode 23. Season 2 of the Intermission podcast, the Philadelphia Flyers, who have been an absolute dumpster fire, decided to sign Rasmus Ristolainen to a 5-year deal, $5.1 million deal. I did some digging on this, but they locked up Rasmus Ristolainen for a long-term deal. They've had a lot of bad injuries throughout the season. They've had Couturier play about half the games this year. I mean, Ryan Ellis hasn't played at all. It's definitely been just a massive disappointment for the Philadelphia Flyers, but signing Rasmus Ristolainen to a 5-year deal, Nate.
Yeah, I always wonder back, like, because I was pretty high on them at the start of the season. I was like, man, they made some good moves, like picking up Ellis. I love the Atkinson ad as well.
Yep.
And then when it just comes down to it, like, obviously Couturier's been out in Ellis, but it's like, I wonder if it would have really made a difference, like, too much. Because, I mean, like, their goaltending hasn't been spectacular.
Yep. That division, man.
Well, yeah, the division
is the best division in hockey.
Yeah, exactly. So it's, I don't know what would have happened had they had Couturier and Ellis all year, but I still don't know. I was also watching the game yesterday when they were playing Carolina. And they had the GM on an interview, and he was saying, we're not rebuilding by any means.
Yeah.
So we have some good pieces, but it's like they're just not that close for me. There's so no man's land. But I feel like they've been there for so long.
For sure. And
now middle slot.
Now you're going to lose your top centerman.
Exactly.
So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I don't really know how well they've drafted either. I mean, you got this Morgan Frost kid who I was watching a bit of that game too, and he had a horrible turnover coming out of his zone to Evgeny Svechnikov. He ended up missing the shot, but I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how their prospect pool is. I don't really know much about it, but I mean, I know that hockey market is certainly, they're starving for a winner, and we'll see what they can do. And we've been hearing year after year after year that this is Carter Hart's year to break out and really show that he's a top tier goaltender in the league, and we haven't really seen that yet.
No, we haven't. He is still young too. He's only 23, 24.
Yep, for sure.
So it obviously takes a little longer for goalies to get going, but
and when the team's not having success, it's tough for the goaltender.
Yeah, exactly. So
at that age, you're right, Nate. It's tough to kind of be the driving force of the team. But we get the trade deadline 8 days away. We're gonna have Petey Blackburn coming on for next Monday's episode. So a week from today, we'll have Pete Blackburn on from Bally Sports, little hockey insider. Going to be fun to chat hockey trades and what the deadline's going to bring. So that's deadline day. So we'll have that podcast out in the morning, and then we'll see what transpires throughout the day. In the NHL trade deadline. I'm sure that there'll be some action before that, Nate, too.
There'll also probably be every single trade known to man will break while we're recording it.
Yes.
This just seems to be the way it goes for the boys.
There's no question that could be the case. But Nate, we're moving into the halftime show of episode 23, season 2 of the Daily Intermission podcast. So we're going to walk through. I've got a few moments that has happened through the trip, Nate. We'll break it down. We'll talk a little bit about what went down in Calgary, Alberta for the boys. We're starting out at moment number 5. We're going to talk a little about plane conduct, pros and cons, and what you should be doing on planes. So, for example, Nate, you probably have a few as well, but on the way there, we were on a one-way from Halifax to Calgary, Alberta, and there was a girl who probably spent 3 hours standing up, looking to the back of the plane, reading. Is that a yay or nay from you, Nate?
Well, I mean, I had initially noticed it and just wondered, this has got to be one of the bigger red flags I've ever seen.
For sure.
You can't stand up facing the back of the plane and read a book aloud. Unless you got I guess if you had she may have had a child, you know? Perhaps she had a
That's
child
true,
right in front of her, didn't even really think about that. We were just obviously thinking doomsday. But I was also wondering doomsday because I had these guys just buzzing around me the entire flight, just moving seats. Like, I didn't know you were allowed to do that.
Yeah.
But it was absolutely outrageous.
Yeah, my biggest thing is you know you're assigned space, and be very cognizant of people's personal space, and you know, put your headphones on and just grind through it. Like, some people are just doing some obnoxious things. I mean, we had this girl behind us not plugging her headphones, and for about 5 minutes she just had this like music blaring from whatever she was watching, and then the flight attendant
No idea.
had to come over and be like, listen, you got to plug your headphones in here. And then she's like, oh, I was wondering why there was no sound. It's like, holy smokes.
I know. It's like some of those things. It's like, dude, just like figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, how hard is it to plug in headphones?
It was outrageous. Yeah, plane conduct certainly was an eye opener, especially these days. Honestly, too, another tough thing to grind out, Nate, is the mask the entire time.
Oh,
I couldn't sleep because like I don't know if it was my breathing through the mask. It was just really difficult to sleep this time around. I'm usually a fantastic sleeper on planes. I just couldn't get it done with the mask on.
no, it's tough, man. My ears start to hurt so much from the straps.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing for me. Like, the breathing's not too bad, but it's just like, holy smokes, man. I got to get this thing off.
At the end,
The second I take the things off, they come around and be like, they must have been on me 15 times
yeah, for
on
sure.
the planes and the airports. It's just constant.
Another thing too, like if you're on a 5 hour plane ride, like I think the airlines have to give out something a little bit better than cookies and pretzels. Like, obviously it's not terrible, but like I'd like step up your food game a little bit. You know, like we're paying some decent chunk of change here to fly. Like, give us something decent.
Even if you wanted to buy something too, like there's nothing.
Yeah.
You know, like, so it's
Or half a can of Diet Coke and pretzels.
yeah, like give me the whole can.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm not
Yeah.
out here trying to drink a mini.
I know.
Like, jeez, man.
It's 2 gulps.
It's like literally, it's like I'll drink 2 with my dinner.
Yeah.
You're gonna give me this on a 5-hour flight?
It is a little ridiculous, man.
Joke.
All right, moment number 4 and 8. There's about 19 casinos downtown Calgary.
There is.
And we went into one casino and absolutely put on a clinic at the blackjack table. I'm not sure if anyone in our group of 7, I think we had a 7-pack at the table. I mean, we were absolutely rinsing this dealer.
Oh man, I was letting him have it too.
Yeah.
I said, Kyle, you're screwed, buddy.
Yeah.
And yeah, we beat the wheels off him, no doubt about that.
There's nothing more fun too than having a bunch of guys at the table. You know, you're all teamed up against the dealer, and I mean, honestly, like the dealer, like Kyle, it was, for example. I mean, we probably should have used a different name, but that's Kyle from Calgary for listening.
Yeah,
we absolutely rinsed the wheels off you.
So,
but usually the dealer gets blackjack more often. Like, he wasn't hitting blackjack very often. I mean, there was sometimes I question the card shuffling. They was shuffled pretty good and was definitely in favor.
Well, remember when we first sat down? We had to sit through the whole the whole learning. I thought I was in training to become a dealer.
Yeah.
You know, getting the whole thing going.
And the manager was over, like shooting the breeze with us. Obviously, we bring a lot of energy, so the manager was kind of over with the dealer watching us. And he's like, and Nate was going on about counting cards and how he was going to rinse the dealer. He's like, "There's no way you can count cards with this machine," because they were spreading the deck all over the table. They shuffled it, like a madman. I think 4 or 5 different decks, and then they put it in the shuffle machine. And they're like, "Yeah, there's just no way you can count cards."
I was like, "All right, watch me." And then I just absolutely rinsed them.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's no shot I can count cards.
But I did. It was definitely alarming to me. Not alarming, but definitely something I took notice of the amount of casinos. I mean, every time it was like, "Yeah, you want to go? Check in on the casino." I was like, "Which one you want to go to?" It's like, "Well, excuse me."
Yeah, I know. It's like, well, you can smoke in this one. It's like, well, I'm good on that. Like, I'm not going to try and sit there counting cards while someone's breathing tobacco smoke down my throat. But.
It's, kind of, looking through fog the entire time.
Yeah, exactly. Was it 1970?
Yeah. But I did want to talk about, Nate, just kind of the people of Calgary. The fans of the Daily Intermission spread out through Alberta and through the city of Calgary, the hotel, just the people and just the experience of our everyday life, man. It was just incredible, man. And the people of the hotel, the Delta downtown of Calgary, they were so amazing. And
they were awesome.
Just the hospitality in general in Calgary. I mean, the people, it was so amazing. And that was certainly my highlight at number 3, Nate.
Yeah. We walked in, the hotel manager's like, "I thought I knew you guys from somewhere."
Yeah.
We're like, "Holy smokes!" And then, the waiting staff was unbelievable there. We had this one guy there most of the nights, and he was awesome. And then even some of the girls too were really good to me, like just whipping up the food however I wanted it. I went in there one night just like wanting some pizza. They don't even have it on the menu. They're like, "We'll get it for you."
Yeah, we'll whip it up.
I'm like, "All right, awesome, thank you very much."
So what is it? So it's the paddle and the canoe. We'll give them the shout out.
Shoe and canoe.
The shoe and canoe.
Yeah.
And I mean, another thing too, Nate, it felt like every restaurant we rolled into, it just, it was about 3 minutes from happy hour.
Yeah, I know. It was ridiculous. So it was tough to avoid in that
For
city,
sure.
But,
did you guys know that in 3 minutes happy hour starts and drinks are going to be $2?
Well, that
Wow.
was the joke I was making when we were there. I was just like, they're just like, yeah, well, guys, welcome. Happy hour starts in 13 seconds. And
yeah.
You're just like, well, it's 9:08, so I don't know what's going on here.
But just for you.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was happy hour verbs we went, and I mean, just to kind of give a shout out to the places we went. I mean, we went to Home and Away, we went to Crafts, we went to Greta. I mean, all these great bars and restaurants in downtown Calgary.
Yeah,
and
Hudson's.
Hudson's.
It was just like we had to eat out every meal.
Yeah.
So it's like we hit a few spots.
For sure.
But,
no, what a phenomenal time. And even too, Nate, we were there through the weekdays, and it just seemed like the city was rocking. Like it didn't seem like there was no nights where I was like, it's kind of a tough night out here.
Yeah.
What is it? The Ship and Anchor as well. We'll kind of give a shout out to. If I'm going to be completely honest, Ship and Anchor, let's throw maybe an extra lighter or two on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying at the Ship and Anchor.
Yeah.
And by the way, Ship and Anchor.
Yeah.
Just mix it. I don't know what the power bill is there, boys, but you could definitely pay a little more.
I walked in there.
So dark.
I couldn't even see people.
No, it was ridiculous.
Like I was talking to this girl beside me, and I don't even really know what she looks like. Thought she was a nice girl, but couldn't tell you what she looked like. Number 2, Nate, and I'm kind of gonna give myself a shot here. I picked up a couple dome foams, a couple dome beers, and I was running up the stairs, and I absolutely ate it. And if we would have had this on camera, it would have been like a phenomenal video to have on our social media platforms. Jogging up the stairs to our seats, and I throw these drinks all over these people. And do you know who these people were? They had a little guy beside them, and it is a straight up meme of a photo. This 12-year-old guy. I mean, that was moment number 2.
12-year-old?
Yeah, I mean, how old? Maybe 7-year-old.
That kid, he was like 4.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like, wow. Oh, dude, if we would have had, we need a daily intermission filmer, folks.
Yeah,
what
we do.
need. So if we would have had that, we would have had maybe viral video of the year.
Yeah.
Greg just completely fallen. But yeah, this kid that was sitting there. Also, that dad was trying to throw with you after you slipped, wasn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
for
the
sure.
dad's trying to throw. His son's over there planning. Like, I don't know what he's planning, but I don't want to even say. 'Cause I don't want it to be even remotely traced back to me. But yeah, that kid is nuts. But that was hilarious. It's a damn shame.
I've never seen a guy so irritated in my life.
This kid gave me vibes of like, we'll probably share the picture at some point.
We're probably gonna have to.
But this kid gave me vibes of like someone who's worked 25 years at the mill. Like he's just that mad. But he's 4.
Sometimes things go down and like some obnoxious things, and you kind of give a dirty look. I get it. But this guy did this in the entire game. 60 minutes of this guy turning around. I guess I should say 2.5 hours of this guy turning around and looking like he wanted to scrap. But I mean, you get that.
I
look
told him I'd
sometimes.
throw.
Did you? Yeah. You and me.
Yeah. I was like, get your dad out of it, bud.
His dad was a big looking dude too, though.
Well, yeah, I can't even remember him. I was just back there saying this kid's destined for something crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Dad was hearing everything.
Yeah, so
right behind him.
Anyway, we sent this photo to the RCMP Calgary, and everyone don't be too worried.
Yeah.
But my number one moment too, Nate, is just the kind of the support and the fans that we have. You guys are awesome, and I was so surprised everywhere we went. People kind of checking in with us, saying they love the content, saying they just love the personalities of us, and very surprising, very eye-opening, and just kind of reassuring Nate that we're doing the right thing here, and we're on the right path to making a career out of this, and the fans that we met throughout Calgary, they were so amazing, and it was truly incredible, remarkable, really.
Yeah, we basically just met a bunch of fire wagon beauties. Is all I'm going to say.
Yeah, we did.
A ton of them.
We did. And Roberto Clemente.
Yep, Clemente, if you're out there, you're a beauty.
You're an absolute beauty.
Yeah.
And Smitty, you were fantastic. And, anyway, it was just, it was an amazing experience. And yeah, I mean, the hospitality that we received and all the people who, whether you're in the airport or at the games and you want photos. And it was just, it was an amazing experience. It's certainly eye-opening for 2 guys who have been locked down in rural Nova Scotia for the last 2 years. But Nate, we're going to move out of the halftime show. That was kind of the Calgary trip in a nutshell. But we're going to move into the NBA.
Yeah.
And a guy by the name of James Harden, who's been all over the map lately, but he is now third all time in three-pointers made. And that, I don't know if it took me by surprise, but I was a little shaken up.
It took me by surprise.
Yeah.
I just find it crazy that 2 of the top 3 are playing right now.
For sure. I mean, I don't know if us NBA fans are taking it for granted, but I mean,
like these guys just reigning, man.
It's truly incredible. I mean, when we look across the board, I mean, obviously LeBron James is going to be, go down as, maybe the GOAT, or he's going to be in conversation with Michael Jordan forever if he is the GOAT. And I mean, you got, Steph Curry, you got Kevin Durant, you got James Harden, you got all these guys, and then you got these tons of young guys coming in. You got Luka Doncic, and you got Joel Embiid, and you got Ja Morant. I mean, Trey Young. I mean, there's just the NBA is in such great hands. I mean, there's superstars left, right, and center, and I mean,
it seems like every team's almost got somebody,
for sure.
So it's great for the parity around the league for sure.
Oh man, it is truly incredible, and you can throw in an NBA game at any point in time. I mean, we forgot to mention Giannis in that conversation, but you throw in a game, and I threw on the Bucks Golden State game for a little bit last night. I mean, it just truly incredible, man, and shout out to James Harden for being third all time. And 3-pointers made. And Nate, I did want to bring up the Kawhi Leonard stuff. Like you mentioned earlier, he's back shooting. It looks like he's kind of clawing closer to suiting up. And the Clippers have been really good, man. They're above 500. They're in a playoff spot. And this is a team that's been without Paul George and Kawhi Leonard for the majority of the season. So, I mean...
Well, I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens when they're getting back, but they could be an absolute juice wagon.
Definitely. And this is kind of what we thought of the Clippers once they brought in Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. This team could be an absolute fire wagon. And the bubble was kind of their opportunity. It felt like that this was their championship to win. They had such a phenomenal season in 2019. But it feels like if they can kind of get healthy, if they can get Kawhi back, and if they can get Paul George healthy, I mean, this is definitely a team that's going to be coming out of the basement of the Western Conference. It's probably not going to be a team that you want to play early on in the playoffs.
For sure not. I mean, that West is going to be unbelievable. It would just suck if they get matched up against, like, say they slide a little bit and just get like Phoenix.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
That's tough for Phoenix.
That would be really a heck of a series.
I mean, LA's coming in with really nothing to lose. It's like, okay, we're coming in as a 7. Yeah. It's a team that went to the final last year.
Yeah. And now you got Kawhi and Paul George, who... That's a mismatch left, right, and center. And I mean, like you said, I mean, the Phoenix Suns, these guys have been absolutely incredible. Yep. I think 13 losses all season, continue to be the number 1 team in the NBA. But man, playoffs are just around the corner. Cannot wait. Nate, I didn't know what you thought about this. This kind of made its viral rounds last week. Will Ferrell dressed up in his Tropics Thunders jersey and was out there for warm up in the Golden State Warriors warm up, like kind of being a clown around. Like I thought, for me, like it's a little cartoonish, it's a little clownish. Like these guys are professional athletes warming up for a game. Like I get it, like they're in California, you're trying to draw some eyes and put on a bit of a production, but for me it's like there's a time and a place for that. Maybe at the All-Star game, for a regular season game, for Will Ferrell to suit up and his Tropic Thunders, for me it's a little over the top, and I don't think there is room for that in a regular season game.
I thought it was fake at first. Yeah, when I first saw it, because I just saw the highlight. I'm like, what is going on? But I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny. It's just like it was so random that it almost cracked me up. Like I had you had no idea the whole team runs out, and then you got Will Ferrell running behind him. Which apparently this movie's never going to die either.
Yeah.
This has been going on for like 20 years now. It seems like, but I don't know. I don't hate it. The All-Star game probably would have made more sense.
Yeah,
obviously.
Well, for me, like, I mean,
it's just like what's going on?
Yeah, like I think about like any other sport, like it's like
imagine like
Well, what's the guy from Goon?
That's what I was. I was gonna say. I was like that, or the Hanson brothers, or whatever they are, skating out behind the team.
To me, it's like
what are these guys doing? Like, imagine them just trailing warm up the whole time.
But that's what I mean. It's like, are we gonna take this seriously, or is this a circus act here? Like, these guys are about to play a game, and you're in Steph Curry's face while he's dripping threes and warm up. Like, anyway, there's a time and a place for that. I don't know. I really I don't know if we'll see Will Ferrell out there and warm up again. But anyway, certainly an interesting tactic. Is it a promotional tactic? Like, I guess I don't get the point of it. Yeah, like you said, Nate, it's a movie from like 2010 or maybe even earlier.
Yeah, anyway. But it seemed Will Ferrell just kind of like gets his stuff just every once in a while. He's just in the middle of it.
Yeah.
It's like some random film.
He'll be like Ron Burgundy in some commentating booth. It's like, are we really doing this? Like, Anchorman was a fantastic movie. Don't get me wrong, but like, are we like Will Ferrell's characters? Obviously, they're legendary, but I guess they never die. The MVP race in the NBA, Nate, staying in Q3. It's heating up, man, and kind of headlining the MVP race now are Nikola Jokic, and I mean his numbers are off the charts good, man. He's such an incredible player. He's the driving force of the Denver Nuggets. There's no question there.
It seems like he's got like 46 every day.
Yeah, I think he's averaging, just over 27 points on the year. I mean, a ton of boards. He's a phenomenal shooter from, out of the perimeter, and obviously his defensive statistics are off the charts as well. So Jokic is leading the way. I mean, this is a team that's been without Jamal Murray all year. I mean, they lost Michael Porter Jr., their young talent, for an extended period of time. They still continue to win in the top 4 of the Western Conference. So, man, I think Jokic is going to get a lot of votes, but I think Joel Embiid as well. I mean, I think James Harden going to Philly might hurt Joel Embiid just because James Harden's going to have some games where he's been the better player on Philly. But Joel Embiid's had such an incredible year as well. And then you can't always, Giannis, you can always throw in that mix as well. I mean, what a tremendous talent Giannis is. And I think Steph Curry's getting some love, John Morant. So it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be the two bigs, though, kind of getting all the votes, Nate.
Yeah, for sure. I also wanted to touch quickly on the Ben Simmons stuff.
Yeah.
With in the crowd.
Oh, man.
Holy
he was getting
smokes,
absolutely
dude.
rinsed.
It was unbelievable.
But every time he goes to Philly, you expect that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't even suit up.
No.
So wait till he plays.
Yeah. So he'll be back. I'm praying for a 76ers Brooklyn Nets playoff series. Because just the tension and the animosity, within that series is going to be off the charts, and it's going to be amazing. But yeah, like you said, Nate, Ben Simmons. I mean, who knows when he's going to return? Hopefully soon. He's having some back issues from his from ramping up activity. Who knows if that's true? The Lakers continue to be a dumpster fire. I know Nate and I like to bring up the Lakers here every once in a while, but LeBron James is coming off back-to-back 50 burgers. I don't know if it's going to be enough, man. It was Charles Barkley who came out and said LeBron James with 2 weeks left should just shut it down, should just call it a year. It's like, holy smokes.
It sounds, I'm not sure, but it sounds like something he would say. Yeah, I mean, he also called Westbrook Westbrick on live broadcast. So.
Yeah, and he continues to call Anthony Davis street clothes. Those guys, the TNT broadcast, man, is so outrageous.
Yeah.
It's so unique to the sport, and it is fun, man. Shaq, man, I think it's not talked about enough, man. His voice is so deep.
Oh yeah,
when he's talking, man, it is unbelievable. But yeah, the Lakers continue to struggle. I think they're in the 9th place right now, so they'll be in a play-in game. But they got to get healthy, and that could be a dangerous matchup as well. I mean, I don't think teams want to be facing the Lakers in a one-and-done game. But I mean, I don't think LeBron at his age can carry the team like he used to with his Cleveland teams. But
no,
we'll see.
I mean, yeah, he's getting up there, but
yeah.
How about Phoenix has already clinched?
Yeah,
crazy.
First team to clinch the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, what is it, like 23 games left in the year? So it's pretty crazy.
Outrageous.
All right, Nate, we're moving into quarter 4 of episode 23 of season 2 of the Daily Intermission podcast. We're talking PGA Tour, we're talking tennis, we're talking NCAA basketball, but we're starting off in the PGA Tour, and Scottie Scheffler, man, 3 starts, he wins 2 of them. Obviously, he won the Phoenix Waste Management Open. And then last week, he wins the Arnold Palmer Invitational. And man, those conditions got outrageous over the weekend. I mean, after 2 days, Victor Hovland had the lead at -9. Scottie Scheffler ends up winning the tournament at -5. I mean, that kind of speaks volumes. I can't remember the last tournament we've seen that. A leader after 2 days being at a certain number, and then coming back to the field at 4 strokes. It's just it was incredibly tough, and obviously he Ironman'd it and outlasted everyone. And Scottie Scheffler, man, if he wins this week at the Players, which I don't think he will because he was on the wrong side of the draw, but he was going to be the number 1 player in the world. This is a guy that hadn't had a win before 3 weeks ago. So I mean, Scottie Scheffler's coming onto the scene in a big way.
Yeah, he's absolutely buzzing. And unfortunately for me, I took him about 3 weeks early in the one and dones.
Okay.
I could have had him. I mean, any pretty much time coming up, and it would have been great. But
yeah.
Now I'm on DJ this week.
Yeah, he's. I think he's in the mix, isn't he? I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, he's at last I checked, he was 59th. He's 3 over. So
okay.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens here this week.
Yeah,
it's an absolute bloodbath, isn't it? Scheffler too. Scheffler kind of blew up as well, right? Because he had this week?
Yeah, so there's 2 sides of the draw in the PGA Tour events every week, as everyone knows. So, I mean, the morning draw and then the afternoon draw. So, it's been lunacy, to be honest. I can't remember a PGA tournament that's been like this. So, I was watching golf yesterday, 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and they just concluded the first round on Saturday.
Yeah.
So, they played the first round on Thursday. They only got half the field in. Conditions were super easy. We were watching Kramer Hancock's interview, and he said it was really easy out there. Guys were shooting -6, -5 on a really difficult TPC Sawgrass course. And then the weather came in, man. The thunder and lightning. Friday was a complete wash, and then Saturday the winds were howling, man, like 40 miles an hour on some holes. It was completely outrageous, the conditions for the players. So the one half of the field that got their first round in the easy conditions are obviously kind of littered across the leaderboard, and then everybody who had the afternoon draw just way over par. I mean, I took Xander Schauffele in the one and done. He's 7 over par. I mean, it's Spieth 7 over par. You got all these guys just.
Spieth had a tough one on 17.
Yeah, I mean,
my goodness,
four water balls in day one. I think there was over 30 yesterday.
Crazy. We were watching the Varner one live too. That was outrageous. Greg completely called it. There's like, I think he's going water. I was like, I don't know. I think he'd get it in. Lands middle of the green, just absolutely trucks off.
Yeah, that got to be one of the toughest holes on tour, just because of the severe downslope on the front of the green. So if you hit and with the receptive greens too, after all the rain, I mean, if you juice a spinner off the front of the green, it's going into the water. If you hit it too far, it's going into the water. I mean, it's got to be. It was playing 136 yesterday. Justin Thomas knocked down a 6-iron. This is a 6-iron. He probably hits 220 yards.
That's crazy.
136 hits a 6-iron. I mean, you got the best players in the world dunking it in the water all over the place. I mean, Kevin Kisner got interviewed after the round and said, "What do you think a 10 handicap would shoot on that?" And he said they probably wouldn't finish. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to hit the green.
That's why I think it'd be interesting to just like. Imagine if we just had like 4 guys go out there and it'd be like in that conditions and be like, all right, boys, give it a go. Like I'd be out there. I'd probably throw every club in the water.
You'd still be there.
Yeah, well, 100%.
Yeah. It would just be rapid fire until you got one on the green.
Mm-hmm. And who knows how many shots it would take.
Yeah.
Some are saying hundreds.
Anyway, so it's going to be interesting to see how this tournament. It's going to be a Monday finish at the Players. So obviously the 5th major. It's a huge tournament. It's going to be such a marathon. They should be playing 2 rounds today, and then obviously Monday finish. So we'll see what happens at the Players Championship. It's really hard to tell. I mean, there's no way you could predict. You got Jon Rahm still in the mix. Justin Thomas had such an incredible round yesterday. Bubba Watson went 4 under in that wind yesterday. So we'll see what happens. Nate, just kind of moving into tennis. I mean, we got Prakash Amatraj. I'm going to work on that name before we have him on the podcast. And Prakash, I apologize about, your last name there, but he, a former AP Tour tennis player, is going to be coming on for Friday's episode, and we're going to be talking tennis, which is something we should be doing more often, Nate. The APT Tour is, especially with the Canadians, the young Canadians that, are littered across the tours. But they're playing in Florida the next 2 weeks. We've the Indian Wells, or I should say the next month, and then we get the Miami Open. So we're going to be talking tennis with Prakash, and he's got a lot of energy, man. I think it's going to be, a must-listen episode. I'm excited to have him on.
Yeah, for sure. And that is something we should mix in too. We only kind of really give it a whole lot of attention when it's like the majors.
Yeah.
So it's like it wouldn't be a terrible thing to just kind of mix in a little more often.
No, we'll mix it in the miscellaneous quarter 4.
Yeah,
a little
bit more
love
often. The miscellaneous
for sure. But he's very close with the Williams sisters as well. I know he's kind of played a lot of tennis with them, trained a lot with them. So it's going to be really exciting to have him on. And then they. Again, the NCAA March Madness tournament starts this week, and I couldn't be more excited about it. And so we're going to launch a bracket challenge. I'll get that all set up tomorrow. So we'll start giving out the details. So message us on Instagram if you want to get on that. It'll be free to enter, and we'll do a little bit of merch package for the winner. So that is going to be super exciting. Sick.
Yeah,
and we're going to do a live sometime this week, early on in the week, where we're kind of listening to your input on each game, and we're going to draw out our brackets with you guys. So I'm really excited about that, and it's certainly a fun time of the year when the madness is going on. You got college basketball games every day in the afternoon, so that's going to be amazing.
Today's Selection Sunday, no?
Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
So
it'll be coming right up,
and then it starts. Was it Thursday or Wednesday? Hopefully not tomorrow.
I think no, it won't start till usually on the Thursday.
Okay.
I think. I'm pretty certain. So
So
we'll have a few days here, and we'll get the bracket all tuned up, and we'll be taking the Boilermakers to win it all.
Absolutely. All right, Nate. Well, we're going to move into the post-game show, and I'm going to give my fire wagon to start things off, and mine's about a guy named James Harden. And we are quick to kind of pounce on James Harden here with the Daily Intermission. But, I mean, 3rd all-time and 3-pointers made. I mean, James Harden, he has had such a tremendous career. He's one of the, most fluid scorers of the basketball. I remember I watched him live in Boston, and it was something like I'd never seen. He dropped 42 on the Celtics that night, and he was just an automatic bucket. So, I'm going to go with my fire wagon as James Harden, Nate.
Okay. My fire wagon is Elias Lindholm.
Okay.
This guy,
Yeah.
man.
30th of the year last night.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, dude, this guy is sneakily just like having an absolute season.
No love at all.
Not at all. He's got, I believe, 65 points somewhere around there, and I mean, we're only at he's over a point per game. No one's really talking about the guy.
No.
Well, most people anyway. But he's my fire wagon. This guy, he scored 2 in the game we were watching against Washington. He was just kind of lights. So he's my fire wagon of the week.
No, I like it a lot. My dog water player of the week, Nate. He was my fire wagon last week, and it's Ricky Fowler.
Oh, boy.
So Ricky Fowler didn't even get in the field this week. Obviously, he was a 7th alternate. And, for a guy, okay, I gave him the fire wagon because he was starting to make some cuts. I thought he was going to get in the mix. I'm giving him the dog water this week because he won the event 5 years ago in 2016. So maybe that's 6 years ago. Maybe that math doesn't check, but this guy missed the tournament, man. We need Ricky to get back on his horse. So I'm just kind of maybe going to give him the reverse daily intermission bump. Hopefully Ricky can get things back on track. He's still such a DFS play for me. I love seeing Ricky in those low 7s, high 6s. But Ricky Fowler's my dog water for not being in the event that he won so shortly ago. Nate, who you out for your dog water?
See, I'm torn on it. I'm torn to take for my dog water Ben Simmons or the 76ers fans.
Okay.
Just for like one of the reasons, Ben, like, get playing.
Yep.
I know you're injured or whatever is going on. But then the fans, just harassing the guy the entire game, and then they get whacked by like 30 points. I think I'm going to go with the fans.
Okay.
I'm going with the fans.
Okay.
The 76ers fans are the dog water of the week.
Okay. Let's just say Philly fans in general.
Yeah, I mean, I could throw that in there,
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Just the entire city of Philadelphia's dog water of the week.
Trash.
All right, folks. Well, thank you for being so patient. We were in Calgary all last week. Couldn't record, but we're back. We're back in a big way. So we'll see you guys Friday with Prakash and from the tennis world, from Bally Tennis, and we're excited about the week ahead. So make sure you're following along on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, and we'll be back in a major way on Friday.